Hey everyone, welcome back. For this evening's shave, I'm going to do a razor comparison. Now, of course, my last video where I did an initial impressions on the Aylsworth Drakkant, I think it's Drakkant. I said this might compare well with the Mula Companion. Now, I said that, and then I spoke to the designer of the Drakkant, and he mentioned that it would be, he kind of designed it based on his own personal preference, which is a Karve B or C plate. Talking to him, I said, I don't have a B plate. I was wrong. I do. I have a B and a C, but generally speaking, when I use a Karve, I use the G plate. That's kind of my go-to. Now, before we get into the comparison, I already talked about the soap. The brush this evening is a new one that I picked up, and this is a Mula hexagon with a synthetic nut. And what's cool about this brush is the nut will screw off. So you can unscrew it when I put on you have a badger knot you can put in as well. They'll fit in this handle. So that's really cool. So as I mentioned, we are going to be comparing the two, the Drakkant and the Karve Christopher Bradley. Now I mentioned I do have a B plate and the C plate. I don't like the B plate. Personally, that's not one that I enjoy using. So I am going to be comparing this to the C plate. But like I said, with the Karve, I generally tend to roll with the G, as in golf. The lather is very, very nicely hydrated. So it's gonna be nice and slick. It's geez, bubbles. I love bubbles. This is a soap that I don't think a lot of people pay attention to anymore. Or at least the Artisan, which is a shame because Case Bubbles is awesome stuff. All right, so normally, I would do I'd do a shave with one razor on this side of the face, and the next shave to the next razor on this side of the face, and I do my final thoughts. I don't have time to do that because I need to get the Drakkant off to the next person in line. So for the Drakkant, I'm going to go on the right side of the face. And if you watch my other comparisons between like the Timeless and the Blackbird, this side kind of grows a little wonky. This side's a bit more straightforward. So I'm using the Karve on this side. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to use the Drakkant on this side because this is easier. So I'm going to kind of give a little bit of an edge to the Drakkant because I don't know this as well as I do the Karve. Now I do have the G plate or the C plate on here. I have a second use feather blade in both razors. So let's go ahead and get going. I'm already 4 minutes in almost and haven't started yet. So Drakkant, left side of my face. Karve, right side. And the reason I decided to go with the Karve, again, after speaking with the designer of the Drakkant and his preferences, figured I'd go with what he mentioned. And I did use the feather in the Mula before. So I have used, that's where the razor that's in the Karve came from. So I figured this would be a little bit more of a fair comparison. Cutting that stubble down really nicely. This is a kind of an interesting spot because of the way the hair grows. All right, so now the Drakkant left side, Karve C plate on the right. And I decided to change this kind of last minute because I'm more familiar with the Karve. So putting on the side that's a little bit more, I don't want to say finicky, but has a little bit more challenges with the growth. I figured it might be a little bit more, even up the playing field a little bit more. But then I'm also right-hand dominant. So I don't know. Is this shave off comparison absolutely fair? No. I'll be the first to admit that it's not 100% fair. Probably stacked a little bit in favor of the Karve. But we'll see. Surprisingly, I've never used a feather blade in the Karve, and it's working out pretty well. The brush, I'm really digging this brush. There will be links to the brush and the Aylsworth's website. Pre-orders may or may not still be available for the Aylsworth at time of release. I know he added some back in. Let's see if they're still available. Now this brush is one I've only seen, of course, on Mila's website, and then at Grown Man Shave is where I picked it up. There'll be a link to all the stuff below in the description, except for the blades, because you can find feather a lot of places. All right, again, right side here. It's kind of what I just grabbed. The other edge is a little bit farther away than the Karve. There we go. All right, the bowl this evening is a D.R. Harris ceramic bowl. This one's not bad. There's no nubbins or anything in the bottom. I just, because Keys Bubbles is a fairly hard soap, I just let the soap kind of soak a little bit while I was in the shower. All right. They do feel about the same. As far as what's left currently with the growth, comfort-wise, comfort's the exact same for both of them. And they're both very smooth, very little blade feel on either side. Zero issues from the soap. For those that are curious, Midnight Dreary is based off of Tom Ford's, I think, Black Orchid. Which, yes, some people say, well, that was a scent designed for females originally. Yeah, it was. It's still gorgeous. I like it. I don't have a splash of the scent, but I like it. All right, against the grain. All right, very smooth against the grain there. Actually feels really nice. Decent messed up there in the sets. Slick soap because I had a hard time stretching. This was the hard part with two razors. All right. That's not bad. I like the weight on this. I really like this handle too. Really like the knurling on that handle. It's probably one of the better handles I've seen in a artisanal offering. I mean, Rod George, you can't go wrong with the Rod George handle. You can't. Now the handicap for this razor is right here against the grain. However, that's very close. Very nice. Maybe rethinking the, no, I'm not. I like the G plate. G plate still my preferred. Just with the Karve. Let's see. I'm not gonna tell right there. Okay, right there I always have a little whirl. Interestingness. So we're gonna do my normal cleanup. Right there. A little bit right there. Which those are fairly normal. That's really smooth. All right. Karve. Karve. Okay. Now, do a quick rinse. Try to do a quick rinse. Gonna fill both sides. Okay. Here. And right there's a little bit. Could be a little closer on the Drakkant side, but I need to put a caveat here. That is not unusual. That's an area sometimes you have to go over again with like a Chevette or even the Blackbird. So I'm not taking that against the Drakkant. That feels about the same. That here is always weird. Okay, so far, both sides feel very similar as far as closeness and everything else. Not a huge surprise because I am using a second use feather in both. Go with the alum block to test. Okay, Karve, a little bit of irritation, but a little bit of notice down there. Okay, I can feel a little bit more feedback from the alum on the Drakkant side. But to be fair, I also went here, which is residual slickness and not with shaving cream. So I'm not going to hold that against it as well. Initially, in all reality, they're very, very close. I would be very hard pressed to say which one is closer, which one is smoother, which one provided a better shave. As far as feedback goes, because again, I went here with based on residual slickness after I've rinsed my face a few times, a little bit more stinging on my cheeks, but that's all on technique with not using shaving soap on this side of the face. So other than that, very similar. So what I'd say is the Drakkant is a nice razor. Yes, I enjoy using this. Comparison-wise, I think if you like the Karve C plate, you'd be very happy with this. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more mild, like if you're used to using like the Blackbird and you want something that you can kind of set and forget it, and you don't have a Karve, this is definitely gonna be one that I could recommend picking up. If you have the Karve C plate and the B plate and you enjoy using those and you're thinking, do I need another razor? Long answer or short answer, no. You don't. If you have the B or C plate and this is your daily driver and you like it in brass or stainless or aluminum, whatever you have your Christopher Bradley in, if that's your go-to and that's what you want to use, do you need to get one of these? No. The shave was not that dissimilar. Is this a sexy razor? Yes, I love this handle. I like that shaping. Speaking with the designer, this will be a little bit more rounded out due to the machine process that EH Precision Manufacturing does. So this will be even more refined, and this is a really nice razor as is. So really, the choice is up to you. It sounds like a cop-out as far as do you need to order the Drakkant or plan on getting one upon release. I was gonna say, unless you don't have the Karve V plate or C, and you're looking for a nice artisanal offering that's different than Karve, or if you're just looking for an artisanal offering, man, I can't talk tonight, that's in that same wheelhouse as the Karve, then yes, this would be an excellent pickup. I'm still relatively on the fence if I want to get one of these. I do thoroughly enjoy it. It is a nice design. It's just, can I swing the additional cost for the razor right now? That's really my only hang up is, can I afford it at the moment to get in on the pre-order, or do I wait and get it later? So I will most likely end up getting one of these because I like it. Again, does it shave much differently than this? No. But I think it's a great looking razor. The design is there, the build quality is there. You look at it compared to my Raw George handle, they're about the same length. Initially, I thought this handle was gonna be a little too long. I mean, when you compare that to like the Mula or the Blackbird or the Timeless, it's a fairly long handle, but it did not get in the way for me. I like that little nub kind of sticks out a little bit more. I could just go on about the design features I like about this razor. I do thoroughly enjoy it. I think it's very well designed. I can't wait to see the final production model, and I'm just rambling now. So again, this will be probably my last video with Super Ship It Off. I do enjoy it. I can recommend it if you like the B and C, if that's your wheelhouse. I think the Drakkant's a good one for you. Anyway, thank you all again for tuning in. And thanks to the old subscribers, new subscribers, those that aren't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below. Anyway, catch you all next time.